Hi guys, so I got today's Soul Mirror card and interesting. The card is beautiful. I love cats and it is curiosity. It says bored or curious. This card is coming in like a tiny little fairy with a flashlight tapping at the window of our spirit. Like, all right, are we exploring today? Or are we doom scrolling and calling it a personality? Curiosity, it's one of the most natural instincts of the soul. Before we were worried about bills, people's opinions, other people's drama, and whether the laundry in the washer has been sitting there long enough to legally need a birth certificate, we were curious. We wanted to touch things, taste things, ask questions, look under rocks, stare at the sky, make mud pies, collect weird sticks, and believe every shiny object, it just might be a treasure. And honestly, that part of us, it's still in there. Our souls are innately curious. They come here to learn, to grow, to evolve, experience, feel, taste, move, cry, laugh, fall down, and get back up. And occasionally make questionable decisions in the name of character development. Our physical bodies, they're not just something we drag around while we overthink everything. Our bodies are the sacred little vehicles used to explore this earthly realm. Through our eyes, we witness beauty. Through our ears, we receive music, my favorite, truth, laughter, and sometimes nonsense we absolutely should have walked away from sooner than later. Through smell and taste, movement and instinct, our souls are gathering information. The body is the interface. The soul is the explorer. And curiosity, that's the compass. And when curiosity is healthy, it feels a little playful. It feels light. It feels like following a tiny golden thread through the forest. Not because you know exactly where it leads, but because something inside you whispers, go this way, go this way. Curiosity is your personal yellow brick road. It may show up as an interest, a hobby, a random thought, a sudden urge to learn something, create something, cook something, paint something, read something, research something, rearrange your whole freaking living room at 11:47 p.m. Yeah, because suddenly the energy is just wrong. Listen, sometimes that is not chaos. Sometimes that is your soul trying to get your attention. There is a curiosity bell that rings in the heart. Is it gentle? Sometimes. Sometimes it's real gentle, but it's persistent. It doesn't always scream. Sometimes it just tugs. It says, look here. Try this. Learn that. Let's go deeper. Pick that back up. Remember? Do you remember what it used to feel like to feel alive? And when we follow that little bell, we create creative flow. We enter into it. We learn. We grow. We discover parts of ourselves that have been waiting patiently under the dust of responsibility, heartbreak, survival mode, and everyone else's needs. But boredom is not always because life is empty. Sometimes boredom is what happens when we stop listening to our own inner curiosity. Sometimes boredom is the soul saying, I'm tired of watching everyone else live while you keep ignoring what lights you up. A little rude, right? But accurate. Because sometimes we're not bored. We're just disconnected. Sometimes we have shifted all our curiosity away from ourselves and placed it onto other people. I wonder what they're doing. I wonder what they're thinking. Why did they post that? Why are they acting weird? Are they mad? Are they changing? Are they finally going to get it together? And meanwhile, our own soul is standing in the corner like, hello, remember me? The main character? The one who actually lives in this body? That kind of boredom, that's a mirror. It reflects where we may be blocking our own needs, ignoring our own desires, and closing down our own heart's yearning, or refusing to follow the breadcrumbs that God, our ancestors, our own spirit team keep trying to place right in front of us. Curiosity asks us to stop demanding a full map before we take the first step. Because grown-up fear loves to say, but where is this going? What's the point? Will this make money? Will people understand? Am I too old? What if I look stupid? And childlike wonder? Just try it. Not everything needs to become a business plan, a 5-year strategy, or a perfectly branded moment when matching fonts and a launch date. That's what we want, right? Sometimes the soul, it just wants to play. And sometimes the healing is in the trying. And sometimes the magic is in letting yourself follow a path without knowing the destination. That is not your responsibility. That's trust. Curiosity, it gives us permission to wonder without being lost. Just wander. Just go and wander. But now, because we are being honest in the mirror today, right? The soul mirror, very important. We also have to say that curiosity is beautiful, but yes, curiosity, it's still discernment, because curiosity can open the soul, but curiosity, it can also have us peeking through doors that God's already locked. Checking in on people that we have already released, and researching things at 2 a.m. that are absolutely not helping our nervous system. Or asking questions that we're not emotionally prepared to hear the answer to. There's a reason that people say a curiosity killed the cat. Sometimes curiosity, it's not wonder. Sometimes curiosity is anxiety, wearing a cute little detective hat. Sometimes it's not your soul calling you forward. And sometimes it's your wound trying to gather evidence. And sometimes it's not inspiration. Sometimes it's control. And there's a big difference between following breadcrumbs from your spirit and digging through emotional trash cans looking for clues. One feels expansive, and the other feels like your stomach is doing gymnastics and your piece just left the group chat. So today we honor curiosity, but we don't worship it blindly. We ask, is this curiosity leading me toward growth? Or is it pulling me back into obsession? Is this helping me become more alive? Or is it feeding a part of me that's afraid to rest? Because sometimes the bravest thing is not exploring. Sometimes the bravest thing is closing the laptop, putting the phone down, stepping away from the mystery, and letting yourself just be bored. Yeah, bored. Plain old bored. No drama, no investigation, no mental scavenger hunt, no spiritual side quest with snacks packed and trauma in the passenger seat. Just stillness. Because boredom, it's not always a problem to fix. Sometimes boredom is your body begging for quiet. And sometimes boredom is your nervous system finally getting a chance to exhale. Sometimes boredom is the empty space where creativity is about to be born. We live in a world that makes stillness feel suspicious. Like, if we are not consuming, creating, scrolling, tracking, learning, posting, improving, healing, organizing, or overthinking, then we must be wasting time. But rest is not wasted time. Stillness is not failure. Being bored does not mean you are behind. Sometimes it means your soul finally has enough silence to hear itself again. So yes, follow the yellow brick road when your heart truly rings. But also know when to sit down on the side of the road. Take your shoes off, drink some water, and let your spirit catch up with your body. Curiosity is a compass, but peace is also a compass. And sometimes the most sacred answer is not go find out. Sometimes it's leave it alone. Sometimes it's rest. And sometimes it's you don't need to know everything to be safe. And woo, that one right there will preach. Because curiosity and rest are not enemies. They're both teachers. Curiosity teaches us to expand, and rest teaches us to receive. Curiosity opens the door, and rest helps us to hear whether God actually told us to walk through it. It lets us explore without needing to explain to ourselves, to everybody. It lets us return to the part of us that remembers joy. It does not have to be earned. Wonder does not have to be practical. And creativity, it doesn't need permission from the committee of fear living rent-free in our freaking heads. So, today, ask yourself, where is my curiosity trying to lead me? What keeps pulling at my heart, even though it makes no logical sense? What did I used to love before life got so serious? What have I been calling boredom but it may actually be a blocked desire. That's a good one right there. And where have I become more curious about other people's lives than my own growth? Because your soul, it did not come here just to survive, pay bills, read text messages with detective level intensity, and keep tabs on everybody's emotional weather. Your soul came here to experience, to play, to learn, to create, to evolve, to rest, to listen, and to wander without losing its peace. So feed your curiosity when it is rooted in joy. Follow the breadcrumbs when it feels like expansion. And let that yellow brick road appear one step at a time. Give yourself permission to be a little weird, a little playful, a little enchanted, and a little more interested in your own becoming. But also give yourself permission to pause, to not know, to not investigate, to not chase every question in the woods like a raccoon with Wi-Fi. Sometimes the most spiritual thing that you can do is just stop saying, I'm bored, and start asking, what is my soul trying to show me next? And sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is to stop chasing the answer and say, my peace is enough for today. Think about this. How can I cultivate a playful and happy relationship with my curiosity? Think about that. What activities bring me back to a state of childlike wonder, joy, and excitement? How can I give myself permission to follow my curiosity, even when I don't even know where it's going to lead? And what have I confused boredom with disconnection from my own desires? Where has my curiosity become anxiety, control, or emotional investigation? What questions do I need to release so my nervous system can rest? What is one small breadcrumb that my soul has been leaving for me lately? What is it? What is that breadcrumb? And where is God asking me not to know everything, but trust anyway?